Hello everybody and welcome to the Autodromo Nazionale Monza for race number 6 of the Night Racing League Sports Car Championship. Season 3 hits the three-quarter pole today as we're doing 90 minutes around the Grand Prix circuit in the Royal Park. There was a lot happening in Brazil and the championship continues to get clarified. Dennis Rotter in the 011 stretching his lead in LMP2 to 58 points. He didn't win in Brazil, but he didn't need to. Eric Fox now solidly in third place, but Eric not here this weekend. He's at Road Atlanta for the Petit Le Mans. So a chance for that midfield pack, and that really is the story in LMP. The midfield pack to catch up. It's really about who's going to get themselves in the top 5. Jennifer McDonald taking over 4th place by a single point after that crash in Brazil for the Canadian Paul Seeley. He drops to 5th. Thomas Brommel is climbing his way fast up the points. 56 now for the German. Keith Rainey is 7th. Jeff Jerome 8th. Bad luck continued for Andreas Schwarz, caught up in the Canadians' misfortune. He's looking for a good result. He's been looking very competitive again. We're going to be seeing what happens in that midfield battle. In GTE, Andreas Sakalas is back after missing that race due to illness. However, James Posland unable to really get much of an advantage back. He did collect 9 points, but it's still 29 back to the 91 car. And very, very tight behind. Hayden Fowler on 92 points. And then look at this battle for 4th. Kevin Hensel, Ivan Zirino, Aidan Campbell, everybody right together. And we'll see how that incredible battle sorts itself out today in GTE Pro. It was fun watching them race in Brazil. That 4-car battle finally won by the 23 of Aidan Campbell, who came home in 2nd place. Yori Masterson winning, of course. In Brazil there, he is getting himself warmed up. A dominant performance, it must be said, for the Dutchman, and we'll be looking to see what happens here today as he continues to get himself in the mix there as well, sitting 8th in the championship at the moment. It's wintergreen today for the leader in GTE. There's Jacob Wally in the 827. And Jacob with a 70-point lead now as he collected his 4th win in Brazil. Enes Bothma, 7 points back with 88, and it's very tight again. Marcel Struth, 74, just 14 back. Jan Spammers had a good run with his 2nd place. He's tightened up there. Lincoln Russell, Steve Broniga, they're all here. And we're looking forward to seeing a great battle in GTE, or GT3 AM. Well, during the week, we had lots of cars practicing, and it was a very popular little segment, so we did take a stroll down pit road. Let's have a listen to the what the drivers had to say as they prepared for 90 minutes here today at Monza. All right, we are here with the driver of the 28 GTE Pro, Hayden Fowler. How you doing, Hayden?
I'm good, how are you?
Not too bad. It's a Wednesday here. We've got a little bit of testing already in the bag. 5/100ths of a second off the top of the timesheets, and that's the point leader. How's the track out there, and how's your testing program going?
It's a little slick. That time is with an X, so it's not really a qualifying lap because it would be invalid, but yeah, I think it's going to be really close between us.
Yeah, we've noticed the Corvettes are teaming up here today, kind of running together. You guys sharing some information. We noticed the Porsches doing that yesterday.
I think it was Tuesday. I shared some few average lap for fuel, what you need to do to make it a one stop, and yeah, we've kind of been talking about just pushing really hard and trying to clear a pit stop, or trying to save enough to clear to make it to the end with one stop.
Right, that's the goal. I know, I mean, we were surprised by the LMPs doing it last race, but it's been pretty clear up and down the pit road that's not going to happen this weekend. It's going to be a two-stopper for them.
Yeah, it's going to be really close because obviously it's a 90-minute race, and there's about 25 laps in a stint in GT, and pit road is about 30 seconds. So essentially, you either need to be quicker than everyone else by like about half a second per lap to clear a pit stop, or you need to stay within like 11 seconds by the end of stint one to make it on fuel if they go in the pits.
Well, it's amazing the way you guys work through the strategies. We're looking forward to see how it plays out. Good luck this weekend, and back on track. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, good luck.
Hayden Fowler, driver of the number 28 GTE Pro here on pit road. Okay, we've had a wander up pit road. We found the driver of the 999 Ferrari 488 Evo, Jan Spammers. How you doing, Jan?
On yourself.
I'm doing great. Thanks very much. So, coming off your second podium of the year in Interlagos, you're having a good season. Tell us about it.
Yeah, the season started off good, and then I had a few unfortunate incidents in the race 2 and 3, I think, and 4. Being at the right time at the wrong place.
That's right. You have the unenviable distinction of being involved in the most unlucky crash of the season at Road Atlanta.
Yes. And the bad part is one of my friends.
That's right, yeah.
Yes, but except for that, last race, I didn't feel like I had pace. Then I made the choice of taking tires, which was the wrong choice.
That really was the difference, wasn't it? That was really the only difference.
That was the only difference. And then, but I was surprised I had pace. And then, that was a good surprise. And then I ended up second. And then, let's see what happens for the rest of the season.
How's the practice going here at... we're finally out of the heat of Brazil, which is great. I mean, I know there was so little grip there. But how's your practice going here at Monza?
Yes, the heat was a tricky one. My biggest concern there was not spinning. And then for this one, Monza, I think I've got the setup dialed in. I just need to do some fine tweaks to get me, more consistent maybe, and just get some muscle memory on the track. So, and definitely try and see what the tire does on a long stint before I take tires again. That's not necessary.
Yeah, especially on the 90-minute races, I think. At least the GTE guys have been telling us it's a one-stop strategy for the GT3s as well this week.
Not sure. I haven't checked that.
Okay.
But if I can, that's what I'll do.
Right. Well, 4th place in the championship, and the good news is Ines Bothma is only 18 points ahead, so it's very, very tight in GT3. So good luck for the final 3 races, and we look forward to seeing you out there.
Thanks.
That's Jan Spammers in the 999 Ferrari in GT3 AM. All right, here we are on pit road with the driver of the 111 Corvette C8R, Mark Sonnen. How's it going, Mark?
Fine. Really good. Interesting practice today. Not that happy with the fuel saving. I was expecting to save more fuel, but I will try to do my best to avoid to do 2 pits during the race. 1 pit should be fine, I hope so.
Yeah, I think that's a prevailing strategy that I've been hearing up and down in GTE, that you're really going to want to try and do it on one stop if you can.
Yeah, I've been doing some maths, and with an expected fuel consumption per lap, it should be do it, but we never know. So and I will have to be really careful with the off track as well, because yeah, it's really difficult to stay on the track, especially as some of the chicane. So
and a couple of really not very friendly 1X zones off tracks, especially the second Lesmo and even in Parabolica.
yeah. So, but if it's difficult for me, it will be difficult for the other. So we never know.
That's right. Yeah, this series is all about taking care of your car and keeping it on track. So yeah, whoever does that the best is not going to get a drive-through, and it's a huge advantage. So tell us about your season. You're down just sniffing the top 10 there, but it's really close between you and the guys in front of you. How's the racing been?
Good, but I do not have really the pace during the race. The first laps, when I'm following the people just behind me, it's okay. But when I'm alone, I'm not concentrating a lot, and I'm losing a lot of time. So I have to work on that to be more consistent laps after laps, and it should be better, because on one lap, yeah, I can do a quite decent time, but it's quite difficult to do it on a consistent way.
Well, we hope to see you Saturday. We know you got a busy day, and say hi to the kid for me. Very exciting as he's going to be on Spa. So
I will take some pictures as well, and of Julia in the car. So.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. All right. Well, we hope you get back in time. Have a good day Saturday, and hope to see you on the track. And good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark Sonnen, driver of the 111 Corvette in GTE Pro. And thanks for everybody for taking the time to talk to us. We are just about ready to get started. The car's finishing up their warm-ups. Let's check out what happened in qualifying and where the drivers will line up for today's race. Starting on pole in LMP, it's the 0-1-1 of the championship leader, Dennis Rotter, a 135.830. He'll line up beside his teammate, Thomas Brommel, Jennifer McDonald and Paul Seeley in row number 2, with Andreas Schwarz and Keith Rainey rounding out a 6-car LMP2 field. Yuri Matheson, race winner in Brazil, he's on pole here with a 143.968 beside the 91 of James Posland. Hayden Fowler and Andreas Sakalas, the championship leader, line up in row 2. Ivan Zirano and Leighton Cater make up the 3rd row with the 94 of Kevin Hensel and the 41 of Pierce Berry in row 4. Championship leader Jacob Wally is on pole in GT3 AM with a 148.078. Jan Spammers lines up beside him. Nicholas Scott and Enos Bachma in row number 2, with Steve Groninga and Lincoln Russell in a black Ferrari this week in row number 3. Marcel Stroop and Chris Thompson round out an 8-car GT3 AM field as we head for 90 minutes at Monza. And the car's rolling here for 90 minutes, and you notice in the grid there that we are missing more cars than just ones that we were expecting. No Clayton Barklow today. Clayton practiced this week, but is not on the grid, so that second place in the championship may be coming under some jeopardy. We'll see what happens here. In the background, also that spectacular battle in GTE Pro last week, and the winner of that battle is not here. He also practiced this week, Aiden Campbell, with the 23 car absent. So we will take tabs as we come around through Parabolica to take the green flag, but all kinds of championship issues going on here today. But the thick end of the field is here, and that incredible 3-car midfield battle in LMP is also here. They're using the second line for the green flag, everybody having to hold off, and we are a go. Dennis Rotter leads down to turn number 1. Very tight, but nice and clean. As the GTEs come down, Yuri Matheson, James Posland, and it is the Brazil winner in front, and a great move by Sakalas in behind. Hayden Fowler down into 4th. The GT3s come down a side-by-side, Spammers and Nicholas Scott in the 9. Everybody through clean, a great start. Dennis Rodder leads in LMP. There's Steve Groninga in the back back half of the GT3 AM class, the 59 car in 5th place. Short field here today for all the classes, the smallest group we've seen yet this season. Rodder, Brommel, and McDonald having a great week of practice. And we'll see if she can hold on to the back end of this group. The Unleashed cars up front. You see Ines Bothma off. And that is at Ascari. And he has clipped the curbing on the way in and actually caught a little bit of the wall there. So the 395 car dropping to the tail end of the field. Kevin Hensel has made a move on his setup teammate, Gator, and that moves him up to 7. Struff and Groninga into the first chicane, and Marcel Struff will take that position. Groninga fights back on the inside. As always, it all happens early here. And there is your championship leader back after a one-race absence. We're glad to see Andreas feeling better and looking very, very competitive. He was on the top of the timesheets a few times. Paul Seeley has dropped to the back of the LMP field. What has happened there? As Struff has now gone by Nicholas Scott, who's dropping down. They both get past him as we enter Curva Grande. This is also coming down to Ascari. We've seen Bothma off there. Seeley, a little bit of a puff of smoke. He's gone wide. Oh, and collected the curbing, saves the car, but that loses 2 positions. And how much damage is going to be underneath that car? You've seen how sensitive the under trays are on the LMP2 cars. So we'll keep close track of his lap times after catching some air there. 2 cars already bitten by the entry to Ascari. Jacob Wally is off to a 5-second lead already in GT3 AM. The Winter Mint is very slippery, and he is having it his own way early here. Spammers in second, that's where he finished. Although they were very, very tight lap time-wise in Brazil. The only difference in that race was Spammers, as you heard when we talked to him, he took tires and Wally did not, and otherwise they'd have fought all the way down to the checkered flag. But Wally seems to have the pace here today. Spammers leading this very tight 5-car battle for second. Struff, Groninga, Scott, and Russell all nose to tail. Thompson has dropped back a little bit. Ines Bothma recovering from that lap 1 incident. That beautiful new livery, Steve debuted that a few races ago in the 59 car. As Bothma tries to move his way back up. McDonald is pulling away from that 3-car KRE battle. Running in reverse order of the points. It is Seeley ahead of Rainey, ahead of Schwarz in the points, and they are running exactly opposite on track. Schwarz ahead of Rainey, ahead of Seeley, so that's going to do nothing but tighten up this midfield in the LMP class. We'll keep watching that. Groninga in the tow. He's got Lincoln Russell with him as the 3 Ferraris come out of Parabolica. Goes to the inside. Nicholas gives him racing room, and he'll head to the braking zone. And a great move by the American. He's up into 4th place. Scott has a little bit of a look, but doesn't go for it, and actually pushes himself wide. And he's going to lose that position. Lincoln Russell through in the 29 car. We check back in on GTE Pro. It is James Posland up front. He's taken the lead from the 185. Rory Matchett's in second. Fowler's got himself up to 3rd. Sakalas 4th. And we are very much looking forward to the GTE battle here again. It was the class to watch. Usually, you have to say, you don't want to pick favorites, but the GTE class never disappoints with how close these guys are. Usually 4, 5, 6 cars all running the same pace. No exception here. As Posland back up front trying to close that gap. 29 points now to Sakalas, who you see there running in 4th. Pierce Berry in the 41 BMW back on circuit, running a solid 5th here. A little wide, there's Cater as well, a little wide exiting that second reservoir. That's a very easy 1X to trigger, so everybody's going to have to watch and make sure they're keeping their incident limits down. Nothing between them. 8 cars in GTE Pro today, less than 7 seconds from the leader to the tail end of the field. We heard them talking in the interviews. It's an expected 1 stop, but it's going to take some fuel saving. So we'll see if everybody can get to the 45-minute mark. Up front, Rotter still leads by less than 2 seconds over Thomas Brommel. McDonald holding on under 5. And then that very close battle at the back. Seeley trying to recover. There he is. Went off track. There doesn't seem to be any real problem under that car. He took a hefty hit on the end of train, but he's holding on to Keith Rainey. We'll see how that works itself out. 1.5 seconds the gap. You can see now the LMPs coming to the tail end of the GT3AM class. And a bit of a gap starting to form from the back of Fowler to the 717 of Andreas Sakalas. There they are. As these 3 Ferraris continue, the camera jumping around to all of the action. Last of the late breakers, Nicholas Scott's got the inside, and he will take that position up into 5th. A little wide on the exit, and he catches the... Maybe a little distracted from the LMP leader coming through there, and that will allow Russell to get back out front. A little chuckle off the Discord. Keep me updated on that, on all the details, guys. As I mentioned, a little bit of fuel saving on the GTEs, and got a nice little quip back. It's like, yeah, a little fuel saving, only 18 liters. That's a lot of fuel saving as Barry on the outside does not get the pass done on Sakalas, who maybe is starting to look like he's holding up this group. As coming back through in the Lesmos, Schwarz gets that job done. Here we are back with that battle. Side by side for 4th place in GTE. You've got Ivan Zirano watching, and a touch there. They just clip each other side to side. Barry takes the escape road. Sakalas here, it is going to be the 41 that ends up coming off worst in that battle. We come back to the Ferraris on the back end of the LMP field. Zirano now with a great toe coming out of the Curva Grande, but not close enough to have a look. Kevin Hensel also a great view of all this. He got by Leighton Cater, but he's certainly not getting away from him. Leighton right on the tail end of the 94. Sealy, a look down the inside as they come through that Ferrari battle in GT3. Keith Rainey's got that covered. And down to the Variante della Roggia. Back to GTE Pro. Piers Barry now finds himself at the tail end of the Crocodile, but still in touch. Just a light touch there. As you can see, they came down side by side. Everybody trying to get as much. Piers right. Oh no, he comes in a little bit, doesn't he? Not very much. But Sakalas was on the white line and they came back a bit and they just sort of touched each other. I think that'll likely be an incidental contact. Both cars will get incident limits for that, and that will take care of it. Up front, it's still Posland ahead of Matchison. Hayden Fowler holding right on. Through De La Roggia. Using the curbs. The GTE cars really do use those curbs. And it's a definite pace advantage for these top three, so Posland looking to maximize what he can over Sakalas, who does seem to have a little bit of a disadvantage today. That gap is growing. The 717 now 6 seconds off the race lead. We didn't go back and have a look at the starts. It wasn't much. It was a very, very clean start today. So we're going to stick with the action here. Very, very far on the inside. Not sure if that saves you much time. Very close to the end of that pit wall. We've already seen in Brazil what happens when a car touches the end of pit wall. As Andre Schwarz got forced into it. Absolutely perfect. Down through the Retrofilio. As Zirano has made the pass through the first chicane, the 77 ahead of the fellow RSR, and Ivan Zirano up to 4th place in GTE Pro. Definitely an issue going on with the 717. Nicholas Scott coming back at Lincoln Russell here. They are side by side down the main straightaway. The timing screen doesn't know who to put up there. He's got the inside line. If he can hold the exit, we've seen this movie before. Very nicely done in the 9 car, up into the top 5. The LMPs, you're just going to see them if we stay in this camera shot long enough. Just now, there they are, coming to the back of the GTE Pro class. Rotter leading Brommel, that gap just under a second. Speaking of seeing movies before, we know these guys love to run similar strategies, nose to tail. If they need to save fuel, they can do it. As Andreas Sakalas now taking a run in the same chicane that he just lost 4th place. Cyrano late on the brakes. Is it too late? No, he makes the corner. Nicely done. And he will hold that position. Just now going to be the first car to be overtaken by the LMP class as it comes through. He has dropped a little bit off that group, it has to be said. He was looking very strong early. The tires have now got seated in. I wonder if there's a little damage from that contact. It was very light contact, but you never know if it hits a wheel the wrong way or something. So just watching the lap times, this one, of course, he's got LMP coming through, but it was a 47.3 the last time around, where everybody in front was doing high 45s. So we'll just see now that everything's settled in, what that pace is on the 41 car. Cyrano still in 4th. Hensel and Cater holding on to the back. Here comes Dennis Rotter and Thomas Brommel. Should be able to get through here. Brommel's going to have to tuck himself back in. And he'll get that job done. De La Roja. And that is the problem with these long straights. You come by in 2 cars, you get the tow. The first one can get through, usually no problem, but the second one has to make a decision. And Brommel there having to be patient, not forcing the issue and getting up through. He's got a nice little gap now, 5 seconds back to McDonald, who has got the same problem coming through this group of tightly packed GT cars. So the traffic will give and the traffic will take away. Not a big issue. McDonald now coming through as they approach Asrari, and she's going to have to wait. Not a friendly passing zone, and that is a huge time penalty to sit behind all the way through there. She'll try now to get through as we head down to Parabolica. The rest of the LMP field a little strung out back there. It is still Schwarz leading Rainey, leading Seeley as they now come through the thick end, that top 3 that is broken away in GTE Pro. And once again, Rotter's going to get through. Oh! Poseland leaves him the space. Well done by both cars. That gives Matheson just a little bit. There's a flash there. It was a late move. But everything done clean. Need to get his finger off the flashers and worry about the 185, who now has a toe down as we approach the second chicane. And in we go. Matheson not able to get up alongside, and everything status quo. Clayton Cater now really bothering the back of the 94 car as that group of, the second group of 3 LMPs is coming through now. A little flash on coming through. Rainey. Oh, he's going to pull out and take a draft. That's naughty. Keith Rainey now left out. He's got nowhere to go. The GTE's in their own race, but Keith Rainey now stuck behind there. That's given Seeley the opportunity to get right on the back end. And here they go down to the run down to Parabolica. Cater drops in behind. Seeley and Rainey will both get by the 94 car. And that's a good run by the 72. We just check up a little further forward, and Cater has gone by. They're side by side. There's the run, a little block from Rainey in the 6. He's going to tuck in behind Sakalas. Seeley, that's not going to work. And he compromised his exit speed as well, so not a good decision to try go on the outside there. Pierce Barry is in the pits, and we're told that is a drive-through. We have our first, not helped by the 4X down at the chicane, but he's collected 6 somewhere else. And heard a little contact there. I think that was the 717. Was that even a little wrinkle on the front end of that Ferrari? This is into Della Roggia. That's Chris Thompson in the 66. Keith Rainey's coming through. He's got a leave room there. That's all done fine. Oh, and he's slow off the exit. I think he clipped that sausage curb, compromised his exit speed, and it's caught out Sakalas, who now has a little bit of a nick on the front of that car. And for somebody already struggling a little bit on pace, that's not going to help. Sakalas has dropped to 7th place. That allowed, as you saw at the tail end of the replay, Cater and Hensel to come through. So it's kind of gone from bad to worse if you're the 717, and better for the 91 as Poslan now leading this race 6 positions ahead of his championship rival. Still tucked in behind. This is on board the Dutchman's car. You can see Hayden Fowler in his rear camera. I don't think he's going to get the job done on all 3. No, he's going to have to split the leaders. Seeley in behind. And stuck through the Lesmos. It's not a big problem to get by the GT3s, but you really have got to nail it, and it's still not a good idea to do it on a GTE car. Rainey is finally through. Seeley has to wander through through them and gets by Matheson before Ascari. As that is the 78 of Marcel Struth, and he is dropping. So a little bit of something happening at Parabolica, and that has dropped the 78 car to 4th place. Nicholas Scott up to 3rd and a podium position. And a shout out to Nicholas, who has been really topping the practice timesheets. He's trying to get that car up to speed, and himself, he's doing a fantastic job. And he's looking very, very good here at Monza. It's always frustrating when you get people who join the series and they get here, they realize how difficult it is with the incident limits and how you really have to work at it. A lot of people get here and they say, oh, I can't win, and they're gone. It is so fantastic to see drivers putting in the work and watching them climb up the timing screens. It's inevitable if you put the work in, and a great job there by the number 9 Ferrari. He's in a podium spot here as we approach the 30-minute mark, 1/3 distance at Monza. Your race leaders in LMP down the back straight. Jan Spammers now finds himself all alone in 3rd place. Scott and Struve 22 seconds off the lead. This is our board Lincoln Russell in the 29 car as he follows Steve Groninga, who we jumped to in the Parabolica. Thomas Brommel now starting to look a little racy there. Whereas the GTEs are saving fuel to do one stop, we know the LMPs don't have that luxury. It's just too far for them. They generally stop 5 minutes or so before the GTEs. As Steve Groninga has spun. That's in the first chicane. Paul Seeley very slow there. What has happened at Retrofilio? Does a flash, but it looks like no, he's gone long in the brakes and clips the back end. And around goes the 59, and that won't be looked at very favorably by the stewards. It's always the car behind's responsibility. It kind of looked like Steve was slowing down to let him go, but Seeley had almost committed to pulling in behind him, and then all of a sudden kind of let off the brakes. And either way, it's a clumsy, half-hearted overtake, and I'm sure that'll be an avoidable contact for the 72, who was having himself another rough day. A big crash in Brazil, went off on lap 2. Doesn't seem to be any floor damage, but now he's tripping over GT3 cars, so well done for the Canadian. Thomas Brommel again, looking on the outside there, as Dennis Rotter covers the inside. Not forcing the issue with 61 minutes, 62 minutes to go. The battle up front in GTE Pro continues. Hosland now has himself a little bit of a lead, stretched it to 1.5 seconds, as they are now coming up on the back of Linus Bachma. So we see the GT3s now with their first taste of traffic. And he has pulled a gap here. This is the largest gap we've seen for the lead here in GTE all day. So whether the back end LMP class has compromised Matheson's race a little bit there, we'll see how the traffic closes them back up. Fowler's still right on the tail of the 185. Out to the limit. Both the Lesmos have very stingy off-track limits, so you have to be careful how much car you stick out past that white line. The other two cars through on the straightaway, and it looks like Posland's going to have to wait through Ascari, and as we say, it ebbs and flows, and this will give the two behind a chance to close that gap up. Hose him right down, not letting anybody get any toe off of him. They'll take it off of Russell. And a great exit from Parabolica as Matheson tries to just pull away a little bit. Fowler gets the job done into the first chicane, and the three are together again. They've got a pair of cars to pass coming up next. as Struff and Russell. Oh, and around goes Kevin Hensel in the 94. Sakalis gets through. Every position is important there. What happened to the 94? Cater a long way back. He's definitely closing. Oh, and a bump under braking. Oh, and Cater doesn't even make the chicane. So a little late on the brakes. And Retrofilio claims another avoidable contact penalty, I'm sure. That one even more straightforward. Straight into the back. Nicholas Scott now coming under pressure from Marcel Struff, we just saw there. We'll keep our eyes peeled on that one. And Sakalis now right on the tail end of Leighton Cater. There is Struff and Nicholas Scott. They're the next pairing for the lead of the GTE Pro class. And this will be interesting. There's a definite performance difference between the two, but no way Matheson's going to get by it. He's Mosley's going to get both cars as we come down to the second chicane. Yeah, he'll only get one. Zirano has dropped. He's off the track. Something has happened to the 77. And Kevin Hensel is in the pits. This looks like, yeah, he stopped 22 seconds. He's taking fuel on that. It's a little early for pit stops, so I'm not sure what's going on there. If he's just decided to even the race out for double pit stops. But for a race that everybody's been talking about, a one-stopper, 34 minutes in is a little early for the 94 car. I don't see anything on the penalty board. Leighton Cater is been given a black flag. He apparently had a slowdown for blowing that chicane, which was not cleared. He's been giving a 16-second hold. So we'll see what happens there with the 199, currently running in 4th place. There is Jen McDonald in the 99 car, 3rd place now, 11.5 seconds off the lead. You can see behind her Andreas Schwarz trying to catch back up. He has broken away from Rainey. Seeley now 10 seconds behind the 6th car. So is there floor damage now? They're still coming through traffic. Not sure. I'm not ready to determine that yet. Brommel still hounding the back of his teammate up front. There's McDonald just now hitting the first chicane. Still defensive. Rommel to the outside. Paul Seeley is on pit road. So the first of the LMP stops happening in behind. And we'll see if there's damage repair there or not. Although I don't think there can be. If it's only under tray, that can't be fixed, I don't believe. Maybe there's a little front end damage from hitting that curbing so hard. Two ways to play a two-stop in LMP. You can play it straight up. Oh, is Piers Barry way out wide there. Holds onto it. Schwarz having to shoot the gap here between a GT3 and a GTE. Little bit of a wander from the 66 car, and he'll have to sit back in behind and wait for the exit of Ascari. And that adds a little bit of a gap up to McDonald as the leaders are in. 1 lap after Seeley, who took fuel only, 33 seconds stopped, so that's a straight up. A full fuel and a splash and go at the end. McDonald is in behind at the end of lap 21. At the end of lap 22, rather. We'll watch the pit times there in LMP. Still another 8 minutes if GTEs... Oh, is really... Well, there's going to be another slowdown for the 199. The entire LMP field is on pit road now. Rotter, the first to clip the exit. He has done a short fuel, so there you go. Cater having to do a slowdown there. He's allowed Sakalis through, but Dennis Rotter slightly shorter, 4 seconds less fuel than Thomas Brommel, who did a full fill. Jennifer McDonald also a short fill, only 27 seconds of fuel. So that is the shortest pit stop. Andreas Schwarz a full fuel, Keith Rainey a full fuel. So we have 2 alternate strategies from Rotter and McDonald. Just trying to take a little track position here now, and having to pay a little later on. McDonald 11 seconds off the back, and Zero now also gets by Cater, who is having trouble clearing his... this is what this black flag is for, I believe. He's going to have to come to pit road, and it looks like a 16-second hold for that car. At least that's what the events list is telling me. So, back up front in GTE Pro, Matchison has regained the battle for first. Fowler is right there as well. But the 1.5 second gap we had about 5-10 minutes ago has vanished. And the 2 Porsches are back together again up front. A shout out and a hello to our Belgian friend Julian Sonnen, who, as we mentioned in the opening, we were talking to his uncle Mark, who is not here today. They were at Spa-Francorchamps earlier in the day. Julian was out running the circuit in the wet, and I've just gotten a video sent to me, so I can't wait to watch that at the end. I got pictures yesterday from Mark, so great stuff, and hope everything's going well. Julian, of course, I hate to say graduate because I'd love to race with him again. He was with the Night Racing League right at the beginning and has moved all the way up. We had some great endurance races here moving up through iRacing, and he is now in the Porsche Super Cup. He's got himself through the Contender Series and is going to be racing the Pro Series next year. Very proud of him, and a hearty wave of hello to Julian, who's watching here. Our first win at Silverstone in the 6 hour was in this very car, the Porsche RSR, in Night Racing Esports colors. As Matchison continues to look like he's ready to lead this race again. Enos Bothma in the pits in the 395 car, so that's the first of the GT3s down pit road. Groninga has been there as well, so Groninga has had a drive-through, that's right. That was earlier on, lap 17. As off the track is the 91, the race leader in GTE, and he's clipped the wall. Couldn't find reverse. He gets it back onto tarmac. Don't hit that rear wing, James. And off he goes. As we'll get a look at this coming down to Parabolica. A little look inside, and he's clipped the right rear corner. And I'm afraid that is all on Matheson. And terrible luck continues for the 91 car. He's led beautifully here today. The GTEs are coming to pit road. There is Matheson now with Fowler behind him. That's your race lead battle. But a very, very quick investigation. Avoidable contact for the 185. That is his first penalty. I'm just going to look down. Yes, that's the first penalty for Matheson this season. So not going to affect him, but it has certainly affected Posland. He was having himself a great day with Sakalas having issues. Sakalas now in the pits. I don't believe he's actually in fourth place. I think his pit box is just in front of Zeronos. But now Posland in third, and the amount of points he was gaining has dropped. The cars are now exiting pit road, and we'll watch to see where they cycle through. Sakalas is ahead. And he's even taken more fuel than Kevin Hensel. Same amount as Zerono. We are not yet at the 45-minute mark, so is this a two-stopper for these guys? As into the pits comes Matheson. Fowler will go around. This is also tight for fuel, I would think. 47.5 minutes left for the 185 car. Steve Groningen leaves his pit box. Leighton Cater, you see, stopped on pit road as he's serving that penalty. He's been stopped for 1 minute and 14 seconds. Fun things going on for Leighton. We'll find out and see what's going on there. Marcel Struff moving up the time orders. Nicholas Scott has made it down to pit road in GT3M. So there is your race leader launching. Two of your GT leaders on the same picture, Hayden Fowler and Jacob Wally. Both cars yet to pit in their respective classes. Posland has made it to pit road now from third place. And after things cycle through, Zerono there is in sixth. Posland back out. And that is Sakalas. Oh, and on the sausage curbs. And what has happened with the 717? There's been a lot of issues down here at Retrofilio. He's just overcooks it on going in. This is the problem. Then he almost beaches it on top of the curbing. So hopefully no damage there for Andreas. He's back on track and running fifth. Kevin Hensel got by him in that exchange. And I'm thinking we may have lost Leighton Cater. He couldn't clear a slowdown for whatever reason. And on my timing screen it says he was awarded a 16-second stop and go penalty, but he has not left the pits. So if he can't get his penalty cleared, he may have been disqualified. McDonald continues to run third, slipping back just a little bit as Brommel now 5 seconds. Oh, that's of course for the pit stop. Never mind. Rotter with the short fuel, and that gap now is extended by exactly the difference in how long they were stopped. Lincoln Russell on pit road. Jacob Wally has made his pit stop in GT3. Marcel Struff is still out there. He leads now in GT3 AM, and he's passed the 45-minute mark. So definitely a one-stopper for the 78. Hayden Fowler has made his pit stop in the 28 car, and you see he has leapfrogged Yori Matchison. So Hayden can go on no more stops. We're not sure about the 185, as remember, he came down pit road about a minute and a half before the halfway mark. And of course, you've got to have a little bit of a buffer past 0. So we're not sure if the 185 can make it. Fowler leads. Posland 16.5 seconds behind this pairing. From the off right here at Parabolica, he was clipped by the 185 going into the corner. And finally, the 78 car is on pit road. There is Marcel. It is a win in the offing for Marcel. He's definitely got the strategy going here today. Jacob Wally has been out for one lap. It actually looks like Jacob can do this on one stop too. He was right at the 45, just past the 45-minute mark. Struff has gone an extra lap. But just trying to see, there is Jacob there. Just trying to see if the 78 had the strategy to maybe go for a win here. Nicholas Scott, I think, is going to have 2 laps. He's very close. We'll see. It'll be very interesting to see what happens at the front end of GT3 AM as this plays itself out. Lincoln Russell has moved back into 3rd place as Marcel's going to slot into 4th after that pit stop. Up front, Hayden Fowler now leads. The Canadian has been on the tail end of this group all day long. He went a lap further. Looks like he's got a perfect one-stop strategy playing out, and he's got the lead as they cycle through. Fowler with 3 podiums so far this year, 2 seconds and a 3rd, looking for his first win. And there is Sakalas now running 5th. He's had a couple of issues today, both in the same corner. 24.5 seconds off the class lead in GT Pro. That engine you hear down there as we every time we pass by the corner is, of course, the pace car that's sitting down there running all day. Every time we go by, my head panics and I try to say, oh, who's off, who's in the pit road, but it's not, it's just the pace car. As after all the pit stops cycle through, 25 seconds the lead for Jacob Wally, and as we prepare for Season 4, we have new license things coming in, just kind of slot cars in. Pro and Am licenses, obviously, for GT drivers to know which car they're racing the challenge races and in the Endurance Championship, whether it's GTE or GT3. And of course, we have super licenses that we always hand out, and that allows drivers, if they wish, to race in the LMP class. And congratulations to Jacob, who was one of those drivers already awarded a super license and also awarded a pro license. He's had a great year, but he's had a great year in GT3. Looking like the title is going to be there, and I wonder if we'll see him in this GTE battle, because he's certainly got the skills for it. A little bit of a look by Matchison. He's got the inside. Great under braking. Did he hold the corner? Yes, a little wiggle, but the 185 back to the top in GTE Pro. Fowler gets a run coming out of Retrofilio. He had the inside, but tucks himself back in. Under 40 minutes remaining here at Monza. Race 6 in the Night Racing League Sports Car Championship. 2 races remain, and how can you go wrong? In a fortnight's time, we're at Le Mans, and then finishing the season off at Spa on the 11th of December. New drivers coming in. We've had a couple of new drivers join us, not racing today, but we should have them on the grid at Le Mans, and with 58 current members in the league, we're looking, I mean, if you're not racing at Le Mans, what are you doing here? We're looking, hopefully, for a 40-plus, 45 car grid at Le Mans. That would be awesome with 3 classes. Down the inside, and Matchison to the lead, or holds the lead, rather. Fowler looking on the outside. Sakalas and Hensel are very close in behind, but we're going to stick with the leaders here. It looks like Yori may have it. They've got Groningen to deal with. Are we going to have a little bit of a pick here? No, they're not going to be close enough for the braking zone. And Matchison will maintain the position, at least for now. Ooh, very close there. I'm not sure if they touched or not. Once again, GTE stealing the show. The gap up front is extended a little bit in LMP. It's now 6 seconds from Rotter to Brommel. McDonald having a lonely race. We'll have Fox back next race. And hopefully Dean Elko will be back the next race. Shout out for Dean. We're all thinking about you, buddy. And yeah, Jeff Jerome not here. Lucas Wallace, I think we've lost for the season. Had a medical procedure done this week. Everything went well, but he's healing at home. We'll see Lucas back for season 4. So just all things conspiring to have a short LMP field here today. Unfortunately, it's hurt the show a little bit. McDonald having a good, strong run, but nobody to race with up there in 3rd. No idea what happened to Clayton Barklow, who practiced this week, multiple days, but has not made it to the race. So hope everything's good there. Hadn't heard from him, and it was a bit of a surprise. Matchison getting passed by Seeley there. That's the last of the LMPs, and these two could get on with it again. It's a very spread out race in LMP. 5 seconds Schwartz to Rainey, and 11 back to Seeley. This is the race on the track. It looks like Seeley blew the chicane there in front of them. Fowler right on the tail end. He's been able to get alongside, but has not been able to get by. In behind them, here is Marcel Struff. He's been caught by Enos Bothma. So this for 4th place. Now we know Enos has to stop again. We are fairly confident Marcel does not. In front of them is Lincoln Russell, just 3 seconds off the road. We heard his car coming out of the chicane. Nicholas Scott in 2nd place, having a great day in that Ferrari. running behind Wally in the 827. Leighton Cater has retired from the race. He couldn't get those penalties cleared. The only retirement so far in this race. Hayden studying the back end of that Ferrari. He's got 34 minutes to figure out how he's going to get by. As that battle continues to tighten up between Struff and Bothma. And you can see on the same screen the gap between 4th and 5th in the LMP class. That was Schwarz and Rainey. It's about a 6-second gap, but they're on the same straightaways. And a little bit of traffic problem here you can see. Got a pro car passing an AM car. Schwarz flashes, but he's certainly not close enough to get anything done there. But he'll be trying to get both of those cars here, but anything like this that can slow him down, it could bring Rainey into play. And way in the back on the same screen there, you saw Seeley as well. 12 seconds now behind Rainey. He does get the job done, heading to De La Roja. And in behind, I just saw, yeah, Rainey's going to have to wait. Got this battle for 4th place in GT3 in front of him. Should be able to get maybe one through the Lesbos. We'll watch that on the map as your overall race leader, Dennis Rotter, comes through. And Rainey has had to wait for both cars through both Lesbos. And that's going to open that gap up again. Now 7 seconds up to Andreas Schwarz. Oh, around his... That is Kevin Hensel, and he's been clipped by Sakalis. That is a large guy. He's overcooked it into the corner. Sakalis just couldn't get the binders on quick enough. So more front-end contact, though, for the 717. That's 2 cars that have kind of gone off circuit in front of him. And he's just had light contact, but all of that can add up and maybe cause a bit of an aero problem. Andreas is 6 seconds ahead of the 94 who just spun. That's a position for him as well. So at least there is a bright side, but we'll see if there's any long-lasting effects with 31 minutes to go here. Bothma is by Struff or side by side. He got him on the main straightaway down to the first chicane. So the 395 up to 4th place. It may be short-lived, though, as I believe the stronger strategy sits in the 78 camp. We'll watch how that plays out. Nicholas Scott is in 2nd. There he is in GT3, just being passed by the leaders in the pro class. And Hensel, with that spin, has fallen back into the clutches of the 77. Sakalis on pit road. And that is a drive-through penalty as well for the 94. Both cars from that contact in the chicane have triggered 10X. Andreas has had... Yeah, there's 3 now that we can remember, so even if he hasn't gone off track at all, if they were all 4Xs, that would be 12, and both of those cars have to come down pit road, and that is Christmas come early for Ivan Zierno as he's promoted up to 4th place. back up front. Enes Bothma in the pits. So I think he's put this race into thirds. That's going to make sense to me. It's been 11 laps since his last pit stop. So he did a bit of a short fill, and now he's doing another short fill. So we figured that car had to come down pit road again. That puts Marcel back up into 4th place. He's only 4 seconds behind Russell, so the podium is all to play for here, especially if Russell has to stop. He was in 1 lap earlier than the 78 car, so it'll be close. These two continue to go at it. I can't remember the last race that we didn't have GTEs battling all the way to the checkered flag from the green at the start. There's Sackles back on the track, coming down through the GT3 leader, Jacob Wally. Another beautiful paint job, by the way, Jacob. He told us when we interviewed him, as out of the pits now was that Botner? That was a 52-second stop. Did he take tires as well? So Botman now in 6th place. As the LMP leader comes through the GTE leaders. And Jan Spammers in 8th place. I missed how Jan got back there. Didn't see any incidents. Anybody could update me on that, that'd be great. How did the 999 car get down to the bottom of the field? Sorry I didn't notice when it dropped down there. As Ivan Zirano now in 4th place, and it's a comfortable 4th place with those drive-through penalties. Sackles in 5th, Fowler again. He always seems to be right there, coming up to the 2nd chicane. We'll do a bit of a field rundown. We'll get everybody on the screen here as we head into the final half hour at Monza. Dennis Rotter leads from pole. He's led all day long. He took a short fill, and his teammate, Thomas Brommel, took a full fill. So we'll see how they cycle through. They should be right back together again, although Brommel has lost time on this stint. Came out of the pits just under 5 seconds. The gap now 7.7. So just a few laps shorter fill. Maybe what is opening up that gap. We'll see how it cycles through on the pit stops. The 99 car runs in 3rd place. Jennifer McDonald. A bit of a lonely day for Jennifer as we've lost some of the midfield of the LMP cars. They should all be back for Le Mans, but she'll take the points and see where she cycles out from a missing Clayton Barklow. Here is Jennifer for her 2nd stop. So the short fill's coming in. Maybe we'll see Dennis here shortly. The 204 car is Andreas Schwarz. He's running in 4th place, and you see just in behind there, the 6 of Keith Rainey in 6th. Another eventful day for the 72, running in 6th place. And closing the gap a little bit on the car in front, so we'll watch that. All the action has been in GTE Pro. There is Jori Matchison leading in GTE, just ahead of the 28 of Hayden Fowler. This was a 3-car battle with James Posland in the 91 until there was contact entering Parabolica. James collected his car. I don't believe he actually hit anything. and is running a solid third place, trying to close that gap up. Now up in fourth is Ivan Zirino. He just collected 2-3 positions when the cars following him, the championship leader Andreas Sakalas and the 94 of Kevin Hensel, who is back on pit road. So we don't know what that one was for, but they both took drive-through penalties, promoting the 77. They are running ahead of Piers Berry in the 41, who was running up front until he had a little bit of incidental contact with the 717. Since then, he's fallen to the back and he's running the same lap times, but has not been able to climb his way back into the top 5 battle. Running in 6th at the moment. Kevin Hensel now has dropped all the way to 7th. Leighton Cater has retired from the class. He had slowdown issues that he couldn't clear, and the car, I think, was disqualified, so he is off the circuit. Up front in GT3M, stop me if you've heard this before, is Jacob Wally, having a great day here in the wintergreen Tic Tac car. He has a 27-second lead over, I would say, the man of the match right now, Nicholas Scott, in a solid 2nd place in that beautiful Ray-Ban Ferrari 488. Nicholas doing a ton of testing, and it's paying off here. He has a 7-second lead over the 29. There he is of Lincoln Russell. Lincoln changing it up. I keep calling him the plain white rapper. I have to say, you fed me that line. So, but he's switched it up to a gloss black Ferrari as Thomas Brommel has jumped into the lead. A quick one. Dennis Rotter in for his pit stop. So the short fuel is in. Dennis Rotter takes the lead in LMP. He will have to make a splash and go. After Russell in 3rd place in GTE, it is the man sitting on the strategy. We're going to see how it plays out. We know this car can go all the way to the end. Marcel Struth in the 78. He's 40 seconds behind the cars in front. Currently on his 12th lap of the stint. Lincoln Russell in front of him stopped a lap earlier. Nicholas Scott 2 laps earlier. And the race leader 1 lap earlier. So we'll see how his strategy plays out. We think Marcel will be a little higher up if things work out his way. In 5th is Steve Groninga in the yellow Ferrari 488. And getting a word from pit road that that car is black because of a terrible performance in Brazil. He had to change it up, so they spray painted that Ferrari. Thanks for that from Lincoln Russell. Steve Groninga can't seem to keep other people's bumpers off the back of his car. He was having another great run, still is in the top 5, but was spun by the 72 of Paul Seeley, who has received a penalty for that, and now finds himself 9 seconds, or sorry, a little over a minute behind the 78 of Marcel Struth. In behind him is the 395 of Ines Bothma, who came in for that very long pit stop. I think he took tires on that 2nd stop. He was splitting the race into thirds and then had a 52-second pit stop. So we believe there are new tires on that car. He has dropped to 6th place. The one I can't figure out, and if anybody can tell me, is the 999 down in 7th place. I can't remember issues for that car, but it's certainly running out of position. 2nd at the last race, but down in 7th place here today. The final car running is the 66 of Chris Thomas in the red Lamborghini. With 20 minutes to go, that is your field rundown. We rejoin the GTE Pros up front. Hayden Fowler has not yet figured a way to get by. Is he still, obviously he must be still trying to save fuel. But he's better off than the car in front of him, who pitted a lap earlier. We think Yori can make it, but it's going to be tight. If Yori can make it, Hayden definitely can. They come out of the second Lesmo, and it has been the battle of the day. The only shame is that James Posland not part of it. He has closed the gap a little bit, but with 19 minutes to go, I don't think we're going to see the 91 car up here. We also hear, we know there was a penalty handed out, but we hear that someone from the 185 pit is in the steward's room right now. So we'll find out what's going on there as Schwarz comes through. Matchison and Fowler get by the plain black wrapper. Getting more paint job texts here on Discord. Thank you, boys. Never a bad idea to have a fresh paint job, says Jacob Wally. And he's got a garage full of them in Toronto. He does a beautiful job on that car. As the LMP and GTE leaders now on the same part of the track, here comes Rotter. Not the leader, actually, running in third place. Currently, we're waiting for pit stops to cycle through. McDonald and Rotter, who short-filled, have made their second stop. Seeley is in there right now doing his splash and go. He stopped a lap earlier than the rest of the field, so that means maybe next lap we'll see Brummel, Schwarz, and Rainey on pit road, and we will see where the LMP strategies fan out. It should be fairly straightforward, with McDonald cycling up to third, then Schwarz, Rainey, and Seeley. As the gaps were pretty static and pretty stable. Brummel is in the pits right now. So we will now see where the four car cycles out. I'm looking for Rotter just now exiting Ascari. It'll be a shorter fill. Rotter took 22 seconds of fuel. So we expect somewhere in the neighborhood of 19, 15, 16, 17, 18. He's gone. 17.9 seconds. Where is Dennis Rotter? Here he comes down the straightaway. And Thomas Brummel is ahead, but he's got to get up to speed. Rotter will maintain the lead. But as we suspected, the two are back together again. And he's got the tow, so it's all to play for. Schwarz and Rainey in the pits as well. And McDonald does go through, so the LMP class is back to where they were. The short fills have played out, and we've got Thomas Brummel right on the tail of Dennis Rotter. And Chris Thompson, that is a terrible place to catch a car, and that's going to open them up a little bit. We said earlier in the broadcast, you could catch, if you're in a pack like that and you catch them in the Lesmos, the LMPs could get through, but usually only just the one. And so great luck for great luck for Dennis Rotter there. And it pushes that gap to 2 seconds with 15.5 minutes left. Matchison now has opened a little. Again, Ascari has split the GTE leaders a little bit. And Matchison with a 1.5 second lead. So basically the same thing looks like it's happened in 2 consecutive corners there for the leaders in both LMP and GTE. McDonald comes through. Yeah, very comfortable. It's almost a 20-second lead. 17 seconds ahead of Schwarz. He's got 11 on Rainey. Seeley now 3 seconds back of his teammate. So we said earlier that gap was coming down. Rainey's come out of the pit road. And although Seeley was longer on pit road. Oh, and around comes That is Jan Spammers in the 999. And a bad day not getting better for Jan. And here we are, Matheson. Can he get him by the first Lesmo? That's going to be very important. He will. Thompson breathes the throttle and gets out of the way. That'll let Fowler come up. And he pulls right out of the way. That might have spooked the Canadian just for half a second, but he's through clean. And they'll continue on. Lincoln Russell now, just seeing, there's Nicholas Scott just behind here. Won't get a shot of him there. That gap is now 9 seconds to Russell. Marcel Struth 5 seconds back. Still waiting to see the pit strategies play out there. Who needs a splash and go in GT3AM? But 14 seconds from Scott to Struth, who can make it. We'll see if he gets promoted to a podium position here. There is Dennis Rotter now, who's stretching that gap through traffic up to 2.6 seconds on Thomas Brommel, who is right there. The way this track is situated, it does seem to be a bit of an advantage to be the first car along. Usually it's not like that. You could argue that being the second car is usually an advantage because you can get through at the same time. You can close that gap if the first car has to wait and then get through at the same time. This circuit is not like that. The Lesmos are too close together. You have Ascari and chicanes that, you know, the leading car can brake, make the pass, and force the second car to have to wait for the exit. And we've seen that play out here in the last 10 minutes in a couple of classes. And the LMP gap now 3 seconds. Hayden Fowler is closing back in, but that gap's still 1 second since they were split apart at Ascari. The M4 and the M8 together. That is your GT3AM leader, Jacob Wally. And there is Fowler. But once again, you can see, I guess he wouldn't have to do too much. He won't get split apart there because that's a faster car going through. You're not going by the other class, but trying to get as much toe as he can. He has actually turned that into a bit of an advantage. That gap down 0.2 of a second. We hope you're all looking forward to the final 2 races of the season. We've had really some spectacular racing this year, and we're going to finish it off strong on 2 of the best circuits in the world. Le Mans in 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks after that, Spa-Francorchamps for the sunrise finale. We can't wait for that. Let me just pull it up here. The sim time for the green lights at Spa-Francorchamps is 5 a.m. So it's going to be dark, and the race will finish around 7 a.m., just after 7. So it's pretty much going to be a night race for the finale, and it'll cap off what's been a great Season 3, our first season with 3 classes, and we're going to continue doing that in Season 4. Sakalis in the pits. Drive-through, so this is his second stop. This is his splash and go for the 717, and that is more good news for this man. James Posland running in 3rd place. Sakalis, is he going to lose a position? I think he is. I think Piers Barry might get him. He's out of the pits, and there goes, is that Piers there? Yes, it is. The 41 will go by. Barry, 2 laps less fuel on board than the leaders, so we'll see if he has to come down as well. Sakalis drops down to 6th place there. Fowler, a great tow here. off. Look at, he backed off there. He was right on the bumper and then decided just to pull it back. Wasn't going to make a move on the inside. That's very interesting because that looked like the best attempt he had, but is he close on fuel? You think running in behind, he's been able to save a little bit on the car in front, and Yori, of course, has had an extra lap here. He stopped a lap earlier, but that could have been a fuel lift. 9 minutes left. When is he going to make a move? Down through Parabolica. 8 minutes left at Monza. There is Piers Berry leading Andreas Sakalas. That is now a battle for the top 5. We get a quick look at them. We're back up front. It will be very tight. But if the 41 can make it, he'll be back into a top 5 after dropping down. Cyrano now coming in for what should be a splash and go as well. 23 laps since he pitted. Stopped for 7.6 seconds, so yeah, just a splash and go for the 77. And we'll see who else can't make it. So Cyrano pitted after 23 laps. Yori Matchison is on his 23rd lap right now. Fowler has dropped back a little bit as some traffic came through there. Sakalas is past Berry, who is in the pits. So Piers having to pit as well. And that puts Andreas back up front. And into the pits is a 185. 6 minutes to go. Hayden Fowler to the lead in GTE Pro. And was he not able to make it on fuel? There was the 28 car. Posland up to second place. That was Enos Bothma taking the escape road. The 185 is out. 5.6 seconds stopped. Less fuel than the other splash and goes took. But the 185 has dropped to third place. There is Marcel Struff still running in fourth in GT3 AM. We're watching Scott and Russell in front of him, who Nicholas Scott has 2 more laps on this stint. Russell 1 more lap. We'll see if fuel affects that battle as well. There is your GTE Pro leader, Hayden Fowler, with 5 minutes to go. Looking now like he's going to get his first win of the season. He's had 3 podiums. That looked like, well, it was a pass. I don't know if it was a slow Lincoln Russell. That gap in LMP that we said was, it was down to 3 seconds, but Paul Seeley has dropped 8 seconds now behind Keith Rainey, so there is no battle there. It looks like the LMP's pretty stationary. You can see Brommel trying to close back up. That gap 2 seconds now. Posland in the pits. So he needs a splash and go. That's going to put Matchison back up into second place. There he is. And Hayden Fowler, who we are pretty sure can make it, he stopped later than these guys. As he got 4 minutes of fuel, he can save like crazy now. It's a 26-second lead. So even if it was tight, Hayden's going to be coasting down every straightaway to get this one to the finish. Dennis Rotter comes through. So right now, looking down the field, as much as everybody was talking about fuel saving, it looks like Hayden Fowler might be the only one to be able to do it. GT3 has got some contenders. Wally Scott and Russell and Struff have all only taken one stop. We'll see how that plays out. I'm worried about second and third place. We'll see if they can make it. There is Wally right there. As we watch Paul Seeley go down the straightaway. And Thomas Brommel has had a bit of an off, we're thinking. Steve Groningen in the pits for fuel. That gap has now ballooned to 10 seconds. So Dennis Rotter looking like he's going to collect his 4th win of the season now. He can put it in coast mode with 2 minutes remaining. There is Posland now running in 3rd. It's still a good points day for him. 2 positions ahead of Andreas Sakalas. He looks like it's going to be a 5th place. Nicholas Scott is in the pits. So there's your first answer in GT3. The 9 car, very quick stop, 5.7 seconds. And he does drop to 4th. So Marcel Struff onto the podium in the 78 car. There is Marcel. We know he can make it. Is another one going to peel off in front of him with 1 minute to go? It depends where the leaders are. There is Dennis Rotter. He's coming down to Ascari. Our GTE leader is in front of him, Hayden Fowler. We'll see if he comes by. Dennis is going to be getting the last 1 lap to go signal when he comes by this time. So that means Fowler, who's now coming out of Parabolica, will have to do 2 more laps. Where is Jacob Long? I'm looking for the flag on my map. Oh, he's just crossing the line as well. So 2 more laps for GT3, and that's the important thing. Can Russell make it? Can Wally make it? Wally has done more time as well, but they can save all the way down. And who's going to get passed on this final lap? As Dennis Rotter continues his title defense with a perfect drive. The short fuel, it was interesting. There wasn't really much between them, it has to be said. He stretched out the gap in the second stint, but the shorter fill for Brommel put him right back on his tail. But he's driven a perfect race. And it looks like he will extend his lead over an absent Clayton Barklow. That's really going to put a lot of people into play for second place in this championship. Barklow and Fox both absent today. There you see Hayden Fowler, who, if he gets passed by Rotter, will end his race without seeing the one to go. Here come the two leaders, all three leaders actually, and that has happened in GT3. Jacob Wally has been passed. Hayden Fowler pulls it out, so this is it. This is the finish of the race. Coming around to win in LMP, Dennis Rotter in the 011. And there is Hayden Fowler for his first win in GTE Pro this season. Jacob Wally will make it 4 as well in GT3 AM. What a great race. Rotter Brommel, and a fantastic finish for Jennifer McDonald, who rounds out the podium. Andreas Schwarz, Keith Rainey, and Paul Seeley round out your LMP field. In GTE Pro, it's Hayden Fowler. James Posland is finished in second place. Yori Matchison pulled off to the side and allowed him to go by as retribution for the little touch into Parabolica. So some great sportsmanship there from the 185. We missed that on the final lap. James Posland will finish second in front of Yori, where he was entering the Parabolica. Matchison third, that is your podium. Ivan Zirano, a great run in fourth place. Andreas Sakalas has to settle for fifth, ahead of Kevin Hensel, Piers Berry, and Leighton Cater, not classified. Or was he classified? We'll find that out. Jacob Wally, your winner in GT3 AM, ahead of Lincoln Russell and Marcel Struff, your podium. Nicholas Scott, a great run, finishing in fourth place, ahead of Enos Bothma, Steve Groniga, Jan Spammers, and Chris Thompson. And what does that do for your points? Dennis Rotter, now with a 96-point lead, and you can see what not being here has done for Barklow and Fox. Jennifer McDonald, a single point behind Eric. Thomas Brommel now moves up to fifth with 83, ahead of Paul Seeley, Keith Rainey, and Andreas Schwarz. They don't change positions in the point standings, but by finishing in reverse order, they are now closer than ever. 79, 66, and 56 respectively. Andreas Sakalas still leads in GTE Pro, but it's tightened up even more as James Posland and Hayden Fowler, with his first win of the year, are tied at 130, just 17 points back. Zirano, Hensel, and Matchison, followed by Campbell, Riebensteiner, and Piers Berry, up to 9th place. GT3 AM is now a 93-point lead for Jacob Wally. Enos Bothma in second, but it's getting tight as Marcel Struff's good finish here today has him 6 points back. Lincoln Russell and Jan Spammers round out the top 5. Well, we hope you enjoyed today's race. We have 2 remaining here in Season 3 before we have our holiday break. Le Mans in 2 weeks' time. We're hoping everybody in the league is out for that one with 3 classes. It should be a classic. 2 hours around the Circuit de la Sarthe. And then we'll finish off the season on December 11th at Spa-Francorchamps with a nighttime, early morning race. It should be spectacular. Thanks for watching us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at Le Mans.